Shalom, shalom, and welcome once again to DCB. Um, hoping and praying that the Most High God be with us all, protect us and guide us, continue to be with us, keep us, and keep us safe along the way. Thanking the Most High God for this day. Thanking Yehovah King for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The ability to call upon His high and holy name in truth and in righteousness. And also thanking Yehovah for food, clothing, and shelter. Keep us. Hope that everyone is good out there. Thanking the Most High God. Hope that everyone is everyone enjoyed their Shabbat meal. Hope that everyone had a pleasant time with their families and everybody in the household. And I'm thanking Yehovah King for my life and the life of the ones that I love. Hoping and praying that Yehovah King continue to be with us and protect us. Tonight's talk is going to be Shabbat Shalom, Dina, Yisrael. Tonight's talk is going to be about the importance of the Shabbat day, which many of us already know. But I was looking for a topic that was simple and something that we could all share and talk about and build on. And we're going to look into certain aspects of the Shabbat day. We're going to look into certain do's and don'ts of the Shabbat day and try to understand the Shabbat day better. This is really something for newcomers, people who really don't understand the day and what it's all about. This is really this is basically where it all starts from. As Israelites, it's what we observe, it's what we do. A lot of the things that we do are based around the Shabbat day, and our lives are almost shaped by the Shabbat day, because there's so many things that we cannot do, and one of the main ones is going out there and work for gain, and it's one of the most difficult things that we face in this captivity, being that in America there is really Shalom Ozi Lewi. There's really no respect for the holy Shabbat day of the Most High God. First and foremost, let me start out by saying that the seventh day of the week, for lack of a better word, is called Saturday, right? So now we understand that the days of the week all derive from gods and from, and for worship of different things, in the universe. For example, the first day of the week on any calendar, any Gregorian calendar, first day of the week is always Sunday. Now, needless to say, the name of the day basically gave you the description of what was done on Sunday, which was the day of the worship of the sun. During Roman times, the first day of the week, they worshiped the sun. So therefore, the name was called Sunday. It was the day also that was designated as the day of rest by the Roman Emperor Constantine. He made it an edict, and he changed the Sabbath day rest from what we know today as Saturday, or what is better known as the seventh day, to the first day of the week, which was known in Roman time as Sunday, because it was the day that they worshiped the sun. So that's just a simple way of putting it and explaining what happened. But it was venerable day for the Romans, and they worship the sun. It was sun worship. Um, the Most High said that they would change the times and the seasons, and this was part of that prophecy when Emperor Constantine came and he changed the Sabbath day from being the seventh day, which we know today is Saturday, and then we go into he changed it to the first day of the week, which is Sunday. So that's just a perspective so that we could see that when is the true day of rest of the Most High. When we get into it, we're going to start out from Genesis, from the creation, when the Most High God made the Sabbath day, when he created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and on the seventh day he ceased, and and he and it was the Sabbath day. So, like I said, these days, in these times, in these Roman times, Sunday was the day of the worship of the sun. Monday, the name implies what was the day of the what was the worship, which Monday or Moon Day was the day of worship of the moon, so forth and so on. Tuesday, I believe, was that flees me right now. Wednesday, you had Thursday, which was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday was Saturn Day, right? So leave a little homework assignment for y'all, or if you could research it right now. Tuesday was named. Find out what Tuesday was named after, what Wednesday was named after, and what Friday was named after. So for everyone out there, that's a little homework assignment. Sometimes I don't remember everything. So little homework assignment. Find out on your own what every day of the week. In fact, let's find out what every day of the week means. I already gave you 3 or 4. I gave you 4 days. All right. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Find out where did those names come about and what was the meaning behind each one of those days. All right. That's homework assignment. If you could find out right now and you could put it in the chat, that'll be great. But all those days have a meaning and a purpose behind them. All those days. So getting back to the matter at hand, the Shabbat day. So the Shabbat day was given to us from the beginning, and we're going to begin to see the importance of the day and what the Most High wanted us to do on this day and how he wanted us to keep this day, and the reverence and respect that we would have for him, in keeping this day. Is going to show through the different chapters and verses that we go to. We're going to jump around and talk about that and bring it to life and let you see exactly what the Most High God is speaking about. So now, we're going to begin from the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 26. So we could understand what's going on here at the beginning during creation. Now, Chief Benjamin is going to go through. He's going to go through Bereshit, which is the beginning, tomorrow. So he's going to go from Genesis 1 to Genesis 6, and he's going to break down a lot of this stuff. So, but since I'm speaking about the Shabbat day, I just want to start out prior to when I start speaking about the Shabbat day to give you an impression of what's going on. It says, then God said, let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the wild animals of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created humankind in his image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them. God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. God said, see, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food. And to every beast of the earth, to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life, I have given every green plant for food. And it was so. God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning the sixth day. So this is the completion of the sixth day, the completion of the sixth day of creation. Right? So the Most High shows us where he created, mankind. And he's telling mankind all the things that he could partake of the vegetation and of the fruits and everything that was there. But then it says it was evening and there was morning, the sixth day, completion of a whole day. So now we go to Genesis chapter 2, verse 1, and it reads, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all their multitude. So everything was created, and all the multitude, meaning everything that occupies the heavens and the earth was created. Birds, animals, humans, plants, fish. Everything was created in these 6 days. 2. And on the seventh day, now it was called the seventh day because a name had not been given to it yet, right? At this point. So it says, and on the seventh day, God finished the work that he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all the work that he had done. So now it said rested here, but when we read it in Hebrew, the true word that is saying is he ceased, right? He stopped. Let us see right here. Try to find it right here and see what it's talking about. Try to look for that precept right there. See the words that it used. Let you know right now. 1 second. That's Genesis chapter 2. I want to read it in Hebrew to see what it says. So give me a chance here. Let me find it in Hebrew. So, I like to do this so people won't be led astray, Genesis chapter 2, verse 2. It says, on the seventh day, God ended his work, which he had made, and he rested. Right? So the word that's used there for rested is Shabbat. Waikah Elohim, Bayom Hashvi'i, the seventh day, Melakto, Asher, Asa, Wayish Boat, Bayom Ha-Shavi'i, Mikal, Melakto, Asher, Asa. So that word right there is, for rested, it says, Waikah Elohim, Bayom Hashvi'i, on the seventh day, Melakto, work, for Malaka, work, Asher, Asa, ended, work ended his work, which he had made, Hashvi'i, Wayish boat. Wayish boat. I see the root for Shabbat there. Wayish boat. So that's the word that is used. Shabbat or rest, right? Or ceased. The Most High ceased. He stopped from doing whatever he was doing. So the proper word would be probably he ceased, because God doesn't need rest. So God ceased from his work, and creation continues, because even on the Shabbat day, life is formed. Animals form life. Animals have no concept of a Shabbat day, so they they animals mate. They have all types of things going on. So light continually continues creating. Once the Most High put it out in the ether, let everything beget after its kind. You know, flowers bloom, fruits grow, vegetation grow, everything continues to grow. So God did not need rest. Everything continues in its form, but he stopped and he ceased as an example to mankind so that we could see that he did everything in 6 days, but he wanted this to be an example to all of us. And now we get the example passed down and we see that from creation, from the time of creation, God stopped. He ceased on the seventh day as an example to us. And it goes on and it says, verse 2, and on the seventh day God finished the work which he had done, and he ceased on the seventh day from all the work that he had done. So God blessed the seventh day and hallowed it. Said God blessed the seventh day and hallowed it. He sanctified it. He made it separate. This day is not like all the other 6 days, right? Where he did work and he created and he did all those things. Now he's showing an example and he's going to make this seventh day separate because on it God rested from all the work that he had done in creation. Because in it God has ceased from all the work which he had done in creation. So God is showing us as an example that the seventh day is particular, is different. It's not like all the other days. It's not like the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth day. This day is definitely a separate day, a different day. Um, it says right here, I'm reading something from the New Oxford Annotated Bible, New Revised Standard Version with the Apocrypha. It reads, this day is the point to which the whole 7 day scheme has led. God does not command the Shabbat, but does rest or cease on the seventh day and blessed it, weaving the 7 day rhythm into creation. The creation of institutions is found in other ancient creation story as well. So it shows that even in ancient times, the people understood that this day was from God. You see, the 7 day Sabbath is not just for Israel, but it's for all mankind. It should be acknowledged by all mankind too, because creation was for all mankind. It wasn't just for Israel. But so the seventh day was an example, and the Most High stopping was an example for all mankind, not only for Israel. Sometimes we tend to think that the seventh day is only for us, but in reality, the seventh day is for all creation, for all mankind. So now it goes on and it says, these are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that Jehovah God made the earth and the heavens, when no plant of the field was yet in the earth, and no herb of the field had yet sprung up. For Jehovah God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was no one to till the ground. But a stream will rise from the earth and water the whole face of the ground. So now, we're done there. Now I want to go into the precepts of the Sabbath. Give me 1 second here. Got my notes over here, so I just want to make sure that everyone is with me. So just bear with me for a second. I know I give you the awkward silence sometimes, but it's okay. Now we're speaking about the Sabbath day tonight. Shabbat Shalom to everyone in the room that's joined us tonight. Tonight we're speaking about the importance of the Shabbat day. And I started out by giving a homework assignment for everyone. The homework assignment is I want everyone to research what the different days of the week mean. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Um, what what do they mean? What's the meaning of each day, and what and share it with us. You could share it with us tonight. How did they acquire the names? How were the names given to these days of the week, and why? And share it with us, okay? You could do it tonight, or you could keep it for next week. And you could inbox me if you want to at you could send me an email at shemayisraelhic at gmail. shemayisraelhic at gmail. All right? You could do that. Or shemayisrael at Yahoo. Send me an email there also. And with that homework assignment. And I'll be sure to acknowledge you. So now, we already went to Genesis chapter 2. We saw from the beginning when the Most High created the heavens and the earth, how he separated the Sabbath and he made it holy. He hallowed it, made it holy. Not like any other day. He made an exception. He made an exception for the Shabbat day, and he showed us what we should do on this day and how we should observe it. So now, if you will, please go with me to Exodus chapter 23. Exodus 23. No, Exodus 16:23. I'm sorry. 16:23. I was in Genesis and realized Genesis 16 didn't have a 23. So I understand in some books it might be a little bit different, but try to find it in your book. Tonight I'm using the New Oxford Annotated Bible, New Revised Standard Version with the Apocrypha. Sometimes I use different books. This is a very good book. It has commentary. Sometimes the commentary is good, and this commentary is from a different perspective. It's not from the rabbis and those guys' point of view. Is more of a it comes from certain rabbis, but it doesn't come from the how do you call them, I forgot the word. It's right at the tip of my tongue, but it's not from those guys. You know what it's not from the Rashis and the Rambams, and it's not from any one of those guys. Rabbi Akiva is not from any one of those guys. It's a different one. Different scholars, more modern scholars, and sometimes I use it. So Exodus 16:23. It reads, he said to them, no, let's start from from Exodus 16, verse 22. This is when we were in the wilderness. And the Most High God is feeding the children of Israel. And he's basically telling us that he's going to give us this food, this manna, right? And right now he's going to tell us that on the sixth day we should gather twice as much because of the Shabbat day. We're coming out of Egypt. We're being formed as a nation. We're being shaped. We're being given rules and regulations. It's like I said, as we was going along, the Most High, through Moses, was creating the blueprint for the nation of Israel, the law, statutes, and commandments. We came out of Egypt not keeping the Shabbat day and not revering the Shabbat day. Very minimally trying to keep any type of Shabbat day. So the wilderness was that time and period where we were shaped and molded into what the Most High wanted us to be. So at this point, we're going to see what's going on with the Shabbat day and somewhat the I wouldn't say the rebellion, but Israel really not getting it at the beginning and not understanding what's going on. So now it says, I'm going to start from Exodus 16:16. This is what Yahweh has commanded. Gather as much as it had each of you needs, an omer for a person, according to the number of persons, all providing for those in their own tents. 17. The Israelites did so, some gathering more, some less. But when they measured it with an omer, those who gathered much had nothing over, and those who gathered little had shortage. They gathered as much as each of them needed. So the Most High basically telling us, just take what you need. Don't go out there, because I'm going to provide for you every day. And this is part of trust. The Most High wants us to trust Him. So He's telling us to go out there when we collect the manna. Go out there and just collect enough, because you have to have trust in me to know that I'm going to provide this for you every day. And then it says, and Moses, verse 19, and Moses said to them, let no one leave any of it over until the morning. So He's telling them, don't leave any of it over until the morning, because I'm providing for you, basically. But they did not listen to Moses. Some people got greedy, grabbed more, because that's the type of people we are. We think we know it all. Some left part of it until the morning, and it bred worms and became foul. Something so beautiful, food from heaven, became foul because it was already out in the ether. It was already put out there. Just take enough for the day. I'm going to provide more in the morning. And the people thought they knew best. They thought they knew better than God. So the bread, and it bred worms and became foul, unbearable. And Moses was angry with them. Why? Because they did not listen. But this is a people just coming out of captivity. Morning by morning, they gathered it as much as each needed. But when the sun grew hot, it melted. So it didn't stay out there. The manna didn't stay out there. As soon as it got hot, it melted. The Most High made it disappear. 22. On the sixth day, they gathered twice as much food, 2 omers apiece. So now, this is where you got to have trust in the Most High. And when the Most High commands you to do something, then it works in your favor. So on the sixth day, they had to gather twice as much. Why? We're going to see. When all the leaders of the congregation came and told Moses, he said to them, this is what Yahweh has commanded. Why did they come and see Moses? Because they understood that on the other days when they try to collect extra and try to keep it till the morning, that it bred worms and it stunk. But now you want us to collect doubly as much on the sixth day, and we already had the experience that if we gathered more on the days when the Most High told us, which is the operative word, when He told us not to gather as much, that it spoiled basically, and it grew worms. But now on this day, the elders is like, why do you want us to gather twice as much, being that we already know if we leave this food over, that it rots and it goes bad and it breeds worms. But now, this is the word of the Most High now, and the word of the Most High is going to make it a solid thing, that when He says gather twice as much on the sixth day, that this thing is in effect and it definitely will not go bad. And it reads, when all the leaders of the congregation came and told Moses, verse 23, and he said to them, this is what Yahweh has commanded. Tomorrow is a day of solemn rest, a holy Shabbat to Yahweh. Bake what you want to bake, and boil what you want to boil, and all that is left over put aside to be kept until morning. So now, this is the institution of the Shabbat day, and the requirements that come with the Shabbat day. It's telling them, Moses is speaking to all the elders, and the elders will relay it to the people. It said, tomorrow is a day of solemn rest, a holy Shabbat to Yahweh. Let me see right here. Verse 23. This is what you always said. Tomorrow is a rest, a holy Shabbat unto Yahweh. Let me see what it says here in Hebrew. It says, Wayomer Alehem hu asher diber Yehovah Shabbat, no, Shabbaton Shabbat, Kodesh La Yehovah Makar, Et Asher Tofu Efu, we eight Asher Tevashlu, Bashalu, no, Bashelu, we eight Kal Haodef, Anihu, no, Anihu, Lechem, Lemish Meret, Ad Tavoquer, no, Haboquer. So now that's saying that, and he said unto them, this is that which Jehovah hath said, tomorrow is the rest of holy Shabbat unto Jehovah. Bake that which ye shall bake today, and see that which ye will see, and that which remaineth overlaid for you to be kept until the morning. So now he's telling them to keep it until the morning, when previously he told them not to keep it until the morning. So now, what makes the difference? That is the word of the Most High. So now it's not going to spoil, and it's going to be good for you to consume. And it goes on and says, so they put it aside until the morning, and as Moses commanded them, and it did not become foul, and there was no worms in it. So now, let's go back to the importance of the Shabbat. Verse 23, it says, and he said unto them, this is what Jehovah has commanded. Tomorrow is a day of rest, a holy Shabbat to Jehovah. Bake what you want to bake, and boil what you want to boil, and all is left over put aside to be kept until morning. So what this teaches us is that we make preparation for the Shabbat. We don't cook, we don't boil, we don't collect stuff, we don't go shopping on this day. Most High is making an example that from the beginning, when he sees from creation, now he's taking it even further and showing us that we got to make as he said, that the day was hallowed and it was blessed. It was a blessed day, and you will get a blessing on this day. But now we cannot even, we have to make preparation on the 6th day in order to keep the 7th day holy and separate in the way that the Most High wants us to keep it. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to cook what you got to cook. You prepare what you prepare. There's no excuse that we're in the lands of our captivities. Listen, we're not in that type of slavery where the slave master is over us and got us in chains and shackles. Yes, we have them mentally, but as far as we could get off from work, you have freedom of religion. This is the only captivity that gives you a free will to do what you have to do is in when it comes to quote unquote religious observances. So, we take advantage of that. And the Most High told us that on this day we don't cook, we don't boil, we don't do anything. We make our preparations prior to this day. It goes on and it says, and it did not become foul, and there was no worms in it. Verse 25. And Moses said, eat it today, for today is a Sabbath to Jehovah. Today you will not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is a Shabbat, there will be none. So there you go. On the 7th day, which is a Shabbat, there will be none. But now look at our people and look at how our people think. Because they don't believe, and remember, they just coming out of captivity. And sometimes, that's a hard-headed people that don't understand. And sometimes through lashes and through teaching is when they get it. And verse 27 says, on the 7th day, which is the Shabbat day, some of the people went out together, and they found none. So they didn't believe Moses. They didn't even want to hear what the Most High had to say. They still went out there to gather on the 7th day. Jehovah said to Moses, how long will you refuse to keep my commandments and instructions? He's talking about the people. See, Jehovah has given you the Shabbat. See, Jehovah has given, this Moses now speaks. See, Jehovah has given you the Shabbat. Therefore, on the 6th day, he gives you food for 2 days. Each of you stay where you are. Do not leave your place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day. So he even had to restrict them more. He said, don't leave your place on the seventh day, because this was a stiff-necked, hard-headed people, you know. So now he's telling them, don't leave your place on the seventh day. And now some people took that and misinterpreted it as we must stay in our houses on the seventh day. That was a direct command by Moses on that day, because the people were going out to gather food on the seventh day. It wasn't that we could not come out of our houses on the seventh day. You know, it just meant for that time until you get it, until you understand that I'm providing double of the food for you on the sixth day, so that you don't have to come out on the seventh day. The restriction was put after the people came out on the seventh day, and that was because they went out together to gather food or to gather manna. So that's why that restriction was put. But it wasn't that we can't walk out of our tents, we can't walk around, we can't go see our neighbor. It didn't mean that. It's a day of rest, but it's not a day of complete um being just under a restriction of your confinement to your homes. That's not what it's speaking about. All right. So Moses just gave that direct order at this point because of what the people were doing. So I hope you got a clear understanding of that. If you with me, please let me know if you understand what I'm saying. Um, if you understand what I'm saying, and what I'm saying makes sense. All right. See someone put up here. Sunday worship the sun. Monday worship the moon. Thursday worship Thor. Friday worship Frida. Saturday worship Saturn. All right. Shabbat shalom to everyone in the room once again. So just let me know if you're with me and if what I'm saying is making sense. Just give me an amen, a hallelujah, and we'll move on. So now that's part of the Shabbat day right there. Let us move on. Let us now go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. Now this is the Ten Commandments, what we know as the 10 words. And this is part of these 10 words to show the importance of the Shabbat day and what the Most High God thinks about it. It says, remember the Shabbat day, Exodus 20, verse 8. Remember the Shabbat day and keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Shabbat to Yahweh your God. You shall not do any work, you, your son, or your daughter, your male or female slave, your livestock, or the alien resident in your towns. For in 6 days Jehovah made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, but rested or ceased on the seventh day. Therefore Jehovah blessed the Shabbat day and consecrated it, right? And hallowed it. Same thing. Consecrated it, hallowed it. Same thing. So now, let's see here. I want to read it in Hebrew. I like doing this. It's practice for me, and it helps us out. It says, the Korhet Yom HaShabbat Lequat Show. See what's going on here. Lequat Show. Give me 1 second. It says, Yom Hashvi'i Shabbat La Yehovah Eloheka Lo Ta'aseh Kal Melaka Ata Uvinka Uviteka Avdeka We Amarta We Amadka Utemteka We Gerka Asher Bish Areka. All right. Give me 1 second here. complete the thought. Kisheshet Yamin Asa Yehovah et Hashemayim we et so we et Haaretz et Hayam we et Kal Asher Bam Wayanak Bayom Hashvi'i Al Kain Barak Yehovah et Yom Hashabbat Kwad Shehu. Hallelujah. So that is basically was um, Exodus chapter 20 verses 8 through 11. And we just read it. Remember the Shabbat day, keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all our work. The Most High is reiterating, like he showed us in the beginning, that he labored and did everything from the first to the sixth day. But the seventh day is a Sabbath. It's a Shabbat unto Yahweh. To Yahweh your God. You shall do and you shall do no manner of work. You, your son, no manner of work. So on this day, it's not like the feast day where it tells us that we could prepare towards the feast. And it's certain feast days are still called Shabbat. That's why my arguments with certain people is that there is one Shabbat day. There is it's like you have Kohanim, right? You have Kohanim, meaning you have priest, but you only have one what? HaKohen, the high priest. There's only one high priest. It's the same way I look at the Shabbat. You have Shabtot, right? You have different Shabtot, different Shabbat days, but there's only one Shabbat, and that comes once every seventh day of the week. And that one comes with many more restrictions than the other ones. And I've always felt that way, and that's the way that I've always felt about, you can't mingle this Shabbat day with every other day, because this particular Shabbaton, this day that the Most High God prescribed every seventh day of the week, is separate from all the other ones, because this one, it already told us, we boil what we boil, we see what we see, we do all these things prior to the Shabbat day coming in. You understand what I'm saying? So I just look at that day differently. It's not like the other days, although the other days, some of them are called the Shabbat day, but it's a different type of Shabbat day. It says, so you prepare and you do whatever you have to do before this day comes in. You shall do no manner of work. You, your son, that means your son. If you go out in the field, this is not the day you send them out there to do work. Or your daughter, no type of work. Leave that stuff, preparation for the Shabbat day. Sometimes we fall victims to a lot of things around us, and we unexpectedly break the Shabbat, but we have to set ourselves down and buckle ourselves down and understand that this day is holy, and it could be broken very easily. So we have to be circumspect in the things that we do on this day, so that we don't be found in violation of the day and desecrating the day and doing that which we want to do on this day, and then finding ourselves cursed instead of blessed on this day. So we have to be careful and watch out for the things that we do on this day, and be careful of what we feel is acceptable on this day. But the seventh day is a Shabbat unto Yahweh your God. You shall do no work. You, your son, your daughter, your male or your female slave, your livestock, or the alien resident in your town. So people, your livestock, you don't have your ox and your mule out there working and doing things, because they get the day off also. They get a time to get the yoke from around their neck and get to roam free and eat and also be relaxed. Your alien resident, people who come stay with you, or servants, you can't tell them because you're a servant you gotta work. Nah, that's not how it goes. They get a rest also. That's why in the beginning I said, that the Shabbat day was made for the world. It wasn't only made for Israel. Everyone is supposed to rest on this day because it goes with creation and with mankind. When God created mankind, it's all connected with us. It's part of what we are. You can't run this engine 7 days a week straight. The connection is made from the beginning when the Most High sanctified and hallowed the Sabbath day and made it a blessing. So on that day, if anyone in the earth cease and stops, will receive a blessing because they are following the command of the Most High God. So I hope you're getting where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to convey to you about this day, about this holy Shabbat day. For in 6 days Jehovah made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, but rested the seventh day, or ceased on the seventh day. Therefore Jehovah blessed the Shabbat day and consecrated it. Jehovah blessed it and consecrated it. So keep that in mind. It's a blessing, brothers and sisters, when we could gain understanding. Let's go to the book of Exodus chapter 31:14. Exodus 31:14. Talk about the Shabbat a little bit more. In fact, let's go. In my book, I will be starting from Exodus 31:12. And it says, Yahweh said to Moses, you yourself ought to speak to the Israelites. You shall keep my Shabbat, for this is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, given in order that you may know that I, Yahweh, sanctify you. You shall keep my Shabbat, for this is a sign between me and you throughout your generations. So this is a sign between us and the Most High God throughout all generations, to know and to identify with being the children of Israel. And the Most High God would understand that when we observe the Shabbat, that we are in compliance with the laws of the Most High God. That's right. Everyone and everything gets a break on this day. Everyone and everything. So that's just how it goes. We don't mess around on that day. We don't mess around. We keep it holy, and we see what is it that the Most High speaking about. So now, give me a second here, making sure that everything is still working properly. Looked like I was having a little freeze out. So now it says, that the Shabbat is a time between me and you throughout your generations, between us and Yahweh throughout our generations. I mean, from the time he did it back then to now, the Shabbat is a sign, and the Most High God will identify his people by those who keep the Shabbat, given in order that you may know that I, Yahweh, sanctify you. He sanctifies us through the Shabbat, because if we keep the Shabbat, we will be sanctified, because remember, the Shabbat day was hallowed and it was blessed. You shall keep the Shabbat because it is holy for you. Shabbat is holy for you, so that we will receive a blessing on that day. Everyone who profanes it shall be put to death. Anyone who profanes the Shabbat day, it's a death penalty. Today, we can't enforce that because we're not in the land of our forefathers. But any kind of work on the Shabbat was deemed uncleanness and a death penalty. Doing any work on it shall be cut off. Who profanes it shall be put to death. Whoever does any work on it shall be cut off among the people. Everyone who profanes it shall be put to death. Whoever does any work on it shall be cut off from among his people. Right? 6 days. So when we see people and people work on the Shabbat day, and if you're working on the Shabbat day and you're having a trouble getting off the Shabbat day, you should make a great effort to try to get that day off. America has this thing called freedom of religion. All you need is a letter from your congregation and a little bit of trust in the Most High Creator. Sometimes you might have to go get you a lawyer. But one thing about this great country, America, is that it has freedom of religion. And there's been many cases where people have won cases against corporations, city jobs, city venues, and when you stand strong, but you have to stand firm, and you have to have trust, and say, I will not work on the Shabbat, because you get cut off. Most High God has said, if you work on this day, you'll be cut off. They said, if you profane this day, right? Whoever profanes it shall be put to death. So these things we have to keep in mind. We have to keep the Shabbat holy and have the conviction that no, I'm not going to work on this day. And if you're new and you're just trying to maneuver around it, find a way. You have letters, we understand, but you could get in contact with your local rabbis, your local leaders of whatever Israelite places, and ask them for a letter in order so you could take it to your job and be ready for the battle. Because if you really have this in your heart, it will be seen. The Shabbat day, we never compromise the Shabbat day. We never compromise it. We always kept it holy, and we strive to keep it holy. And those that don't, and do what they want to do, well, that's their thing that they have to take up with the Most High God. But those of us that know better and choose not to do the things that the Most High God told us to do, which is keeping this day holy, then that sin is upon us, and we have to answer to God for that. And it says that you will be cut off. So sometimes it's people in our family, sometimes it's people that we love and care for. Hey, the Most High said that they'll be cut off. And that cut off, do we know what that cut off means? We don't know what that means. Sometimes, you get the Most High God takes away your mind. The Most High God takes away your ability to think rationally. You think that you're thinking rationally, but your trust in the Most High and your confidence in the Most High is gone, and you think that everything that you get is from the power of your hand. And the Most High, at that point, you've been cut off from thinking logically, and you're not living in the fear of the Most High anymore. And that's one of the worst forms of being cut off. That's one of the worst forms. So we have to keep all those things in mind. So we don't want to be cut off, brothers and sisters. Make an effort to try to get the days off, to try to keep the days holy, because we don't want to be that cut off people. Amen. Then it says, this is what we read every morning on Shabbat. It's just from the Masoretic text. Verse 15. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is a Shabbat of solemn rest, holy to Jehovah. Whosoever does any work on the Shabbat day shall be put to death. Whoever does any work on the Shabbat day shall be put to death. So working on the Shabbat day is a death penalty. Some people don't take it seriously. Some people think it's not it's a seriousness of profaning the day that the Most High God made holy. I got to go out there, I got to make this money, and God will understand. God doesn't understand. God didn't even understand what the great prophet Moses, who was the man who he spoke to face, not in a dream, not in a vision, but face to face. And when he messed up, he couldn't go into the land. So what makes you think that, measly any one of us if we mess up and we profane the Shabbat and do what we want to do on the Shabbat, that the Most High God is going to have pity and mercy on us. Now it tells us not to profane it, right? And not doing work or whatever might be that profanes the Shabbat day, doing your own will and doing what you want to do. The Most High God is going to exact his judgment and his vengeance against those who go contrary to his law. That's just how he operates. It might not get you now, and you might get a good run. You might live years in that and think that everything is going well. And then when you least expect it, it happens, and the Most High God will bring it to your remembrance and make you understand that it was he who did it to you and why he did it to you. That's just how the Most High God operates. Verse 16. Therefore the Israelites shall keep the Shabbat, to observing the Shabbat throughout their generations as a perpetual covenant. We're supposed to keep this as a forever with the Most High. This is a perpetual covenant between us and the Most High forever. Throughout all generations, all of our children, we're supposed to teach them, and they're supposed to do it. It is a sign forever between me and the people of Israel that in 6 days Jehovah made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he ceased and was refreshed. So now, it's telling us that this is what the Most High God left Moses off with. It said, and when God finished speaking with Moses on Mount Sinai, he gave him the two tablets of the covenant, tablets of stone, written with the finger of God. That was the finale right there, the Shabbat day. Right? So it shows the importance of the Shabbat day because the Most High God put it as a final statement. Now, let us go to the book of Exodus, chapter 35, verse 2. Let's start from verse 1. Most High keeps reiterating the importance of the Shabbat all through the book of the law, the Torah. Exodus 35, verse 1. Moses assembled all the congregation of the Israelites and said to them, these are the things that Jehovah has commanded you to do. Verse 2. 6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day you shall have a holy Shabbat of solemn rest to Jehovah. Whoever does any work on it shall be put to death. That's plain and simple. You violate the Shabbat day, you do any work in it, you shall be put to death. We can't overlook that. We can't think that the Most High God is not. It's a death penalty. So when you're doing it, you in violation of the laws of the Most High God, and it could cost you your life. Anything can happen. People say, "Oh, what? Lightning is going to come down from heaven and strike me." Yeah, it could happen. There was some wicked and thunderstorms and lightning out here today. It could happen. You could get struck by lightning. It could happen. Could come from heaven and strike you down. So we see once again the importance of the Shabbat day. Whoever does any work on it shall be put to death. You shall kindle no fire in all your dwellings on the Shabbat day. You shall kindle no fire in all your dwellings on the Shabbat day. So now, back then, in order to kindle a fire, it was work. You had to rub stones together. You had to do all that. But the main purpose is telling you not to kindle fire is because, because if you kindle fire, you probably were going to cook. So he prohibited all this. Now, if you common sense will tell you, you will keep a fire going. If you were supposed to gather your sticks and everything, and you could add to the fire, but you can't physically start a fire on that day. So I'm sure that our forefathers had a fire already going, if they needed it for warmth or anything like that, and they kept it going on throughout the night to keep them warm. But as far as kindling that fire, that was supposed to be done before sundown. So now we begin to see all the restrictions that the Most High God is putting on. Don't kindle any fire. You know, the Jewish people, they go as far as not turning on lights on in their homes on the Shabbat day because they consider that kindling a fire. And then what they would do, um, what my teacher would tell me is that what they would do is, he said when he was little that they would call him into their house to turn on their lights. So they'll cause someone else to sin, what they consider to be a sin, because I don't believe that turning on a light is kindling fire. But what they believe that they will cause someone else to sin by turning on their lights on the Shabbat and then telling them get a fruit from the table or anything like that. It's just not right. The Shabbat day is for everyone. The Shabbat day is global. When the Most High created at the beginning, it wasn't just for Israel, it was for mankind. So therefore, if you cause someone else to sin, by your standard, it's a sin, and you cause them to sin by turning on your lights, then that means that sin also goes on you also for leading someone astray. You understand what I'm saying? So that ought not be done, and it can't be done if that's what you say that you observe and what you do. Cannot do it. It's low toe. It's against the laws of the Most High. What about working as a nursing assistant taking care of the sick on the Shabbat? So now we're ready. We read and we said that no man will work on the Shabbat day. So if this is your job, and I could, you see, I can only teach the law for what it is. I can't put a spin on it, and I can't okay, what I already know is not okay by the Most High. Working is working. If you're getting paid on that day, then it's work. You know, if you got your mother, a parent, or someone like that, you taking care of them on the Shabbat. That's not work. You just taking care of your parents on the Shabbat. But if this is for monetary gain, then is work. So the Most High God forbid us from doing any manner of work on the Shabbat day. So, like I said, you work towards trying to get those days off and trying to be in compliance with the Most High God, and try your best. A good effort is always better than no effort at all. So God will see your best and see that you're striving to do that which is right and trying to do that which is good, and then He'll assist you. But said the Most High help those that help themselves. So if you make the strive and you make the step or you move forward, then the Most High God will definitely help you out. So now, let's see. So we read that, 35. So you should kindle no fire. So we got that part, right? We're moving straight ahead. Boy, this became longer than what I expected. But it's okay. We in here. We peoples. Leviticus chapter 16, verse 31. 16:31 says, so now, yeah, I wanna use this as an example because it uses the word Shabbat. This shall be. We're gonna start from Leviticus 16, verse 29. This shall be a statute to you forever. In the seventh month, on the 10th day of the month, you shall deny yourselves, and you shall do no work, neither the citizen nor the alien who resides among you. For on this day atonement shall be made for you, to cleanse you from all your sins. You shall be cleansed before Jehovah. It is a Shabbat of complete rest to you. You shall deny yourselves. It is a statute forever. So this is talking about Yom Kippur, and it's telling us that we shall do, the serving amongst us. No one should do any work, and we should deny ourselves food. It's a day of atonement. It's a day of the day of atonement from sin, and it's a day where we afflict our souls. So even to that point, it's still not the Shabbat day that the Most High God appointed for the seventh day of the week. That comes with its own regulations. That comes with its own rules. Although it's Yom Kippur, one of the high holy days of the year, it is still not the Shabbat day, which comes in 52 times a year. It's different. It's different. And this is why I say it's different. On the seventh day Shabbat, can you kindle fire? No, you cannot. It tells us already. It just told us in Exodus 16. No, Exodus 35:3. It tells us that we can't kindle no fire. On Yom Kippur, will you be in violation for kindling fire? For making a fire? Or for kindling a matchstick? I don't believe so. I don't think so. So and in that sense, it's different than the Shabbat day. The Shabbat day. You know, um, there's only one Shabbat day, and that's the day that was separated from the beginning of time and hallowed from the beginning of time. Now, let us go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 3. From verse 1. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, These are the appointed festivals of Yahweh, that ye shall proclaim as holy convocations, my appointed festivals. 6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day is a Shabbat of complete rest, a holy convocation. Ye shall do no work. It is a Shabbat to Yahweh throughout your settlement. So it's telling Moses as they're going on into the land, to tell the people, once again reiterating that the Shabbat day, 6 days shall work, so all your work be done, but the seventh day is a Shabbat of complete rest. Everything stops, along with the kindling no fire, going out there working on it, doing anything like that. It comes with its own restriction. Boil that which you will boil, and cook that which you will cook. All these things are done and is already set. But it comes with the seventh day Shabbat, the weekly seventh day Shabbat that comes in 52 times a year. Um, Let me see. 3. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is a Shabbat of complete rest, a holy convocation. You shall do no work. It is a Shabbat to Yahweh throughout your settlement. So it's complete rest. Let us move straight ahead. We understand that. Um, it's a whole bunch of days that are called Shabtot within this, but like I said, there's only one 7 day Shabbat, the Shabbat day that come with, and that's the Shabbat day that I'm speaking about, that come with all the rules and regulations and restrictions. I hope that you're with me, and I hope that I'm not confusing you. If I am confusing you, let me know. So now let's go. This is what I'm talking about when it speaks about a Shabbat and whether something is a Shabbat or not. If we go to Leviticus 25, verse 2, and this is what I'm talking about, where a lot of people they just call everything a Shabbat, but it's not a Shabbat. Now it says, what did I say? Leviticus 25, verse 2. Just stay with me real quick so I could show you that everything is not a Shabbat day like that you just lock down, like the Shabbat day that the Most High God assigned for the seventh day of the week, 52 times a year. So now, Leviticus 25, verse 2. It reads on this wise. Let's start from verse 1, 25, verse 1. The Lord spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai, saying, Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, When you enter the land that I am giving you, the land shall observe a Shabbat for Jehovah. 6 years you shall sow your field, and 6 years you shall prune your vineyard, and gather in their yield. But in the seventh year there shall be a Shabbat of complete rest for the land, a Shabbat for Jehovah. You shall not sow your field or prune your vineyard. So now, it's a Shabbat for the whole year. That means 365 days of that year is a Shabbat. But what is the Shabbat? It means the rest for the land. You know what I mean? Is you can't prune the land, you can't work it, you can't till it. You gotta let it grow wild. You can eat the fruits or whatever, but you gotta let everything grow wild, and you gotta let the fruits go, the stuff fall back into the ground. You know, you kind of leave the land uncared. It's a Shabbat. You have a whole year off almost. Also, so. And it says, later that it will tell us that he will give us twice as much on the 6th year to carry us through the 7th year. Because we're not going to be out there cultivating and doing all that stuff. Because you got to let the land regain its strength. So it's called the Shabbat. Is that the Shabbat date? No. It's a Shabbat of rest for the land. The word Shabbat is used. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes we get confused with the Shabbat, but there's only one Shabbat day that comes with all the rules and regulations, with all, as they said, bells and whistles. No kindling fire, no speaking out your own words, no gathering sticks, no whatever, all the things we already went through. No going out there and working. And it being a curse to you if you go out there and work, and it's a death penalty. These are all the restrictions that are put for the Shabbat day, but not for every Shabbat day. This is a Shabbat year right here that it's speaking about. And it's a year for the land to renew her strength and to get a rest. The land gets a rest, but it's also called Shabbat. So I just. This has been on my mind, and I just wanted to talk about it because sometimes we confuse everything. We confuse everything with we try to put everything together in one basket, but we got to separate things and look at them for what they are. Look at them in separate boxes and understand each box and understand that, no, everything is not quite the same, although it's called the same thing, because the seventh day Shabbat is given its own rules and regulations and its own restriction, just like every other day is given its own rules and regulations and its own restrictions. I hope that I'm making myself clear to you. I got to keep saying that because I don't want to mislead anyone. Let's go to Numbers 15:32. Winding down, y'all. Numbers 15:32. It reads on this wise. Verse 32. When the Israelites were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering sticks on the Shabbat day. Those who found him gathering sticks brought him to Moses and Aaron and to the whole congregation. They put him in custody because it was not clear what should be done to him. So like I said, when he gave us the command to stay in our tents earlier, that was because the people came out looking for manna on the seventh day. So he kind of put us on punishment. Moses was like, y'all stay in y'all tents because y'all don't like to listen until y'all get this together. So now we moving forward, and they found a man gathering sticks on the Shabbat day. So now, in order to gather sticks, you got to come out your tent. In order for people to see him gathering sticks and catch him and bring him to Moses, that means that people were outside their tent. So it wasn't a violation to be outside your tents. People probably gathered together, spoke about the Most High, probably sung praise and elevated the name of the Most High. and they found this guy coming back with sticks from the woods or whatever, thinking that like everything, thinking that everything was good and he was in no violation. But the law was already given that no manner of work shall be done. So now, let me just charge this thing right here before it go pop out on me, before it go dead on me. Let's see here. Just bear with me for a second. I know that I take more breaks than a little, but give me one moment here. Give me one moment here. Let me find something that's going to work. Give me 1 second here, people. I'm going to disappear from the camera for 1 second. All right, I'm back. I got my tablet here. I'm working on my tablet, and I got all my notes in my tablet, so I don't want it to die out on me. Okay, now we back in business. There we go. So now, where were we? So now, like I was saying, that we were not it wasn't like a command that we couldn't come out of our tents. It was just for that time. So now, verse 34, they put him in custody because it was not clear what should be done to him. Because remember, I told y'all that, sometimes Moses didn't have Moses was creating the game plan as it went along. When Joshua got it, it was already ready made, and it was easy for Joshua. But Moses kind of he created it as he went along, so it was a little bit more difficult for Moses than for Joshua. That's why it seemed like everything was so smoothly with Joshua, but it was really that Moses was creating the game plan through. First, the Most High was creating the game plan and passing it along to Moses. Because right here, they didn't even know what to do with him. They found him gathering sticks. They were confused. But the Most High already said no manner of work. So gathering sticks. They put him in custody because it was not clear what should be done to him. It was not clear what should be done to him. They put him in jail, incarcerated him. Then Yahweh said to Moses, the man shall be put to death. All the congregation shall stone him outside the camp. The whole congregation brought him outside the camp and stoned him to death, just as Yahweh had commanded. Most High, because he said no manner of work. Picking up stakes, we talking about picking up bundles of stakes and laboring, trying to, what are you doing with those stakes? Are you going to start a fire? Whatever you were going to do with those stakes, it wasn't the time for that. Verse 37, Yahweh said to Moses, speak to the Israelites and tell them to make, well, all right. We want to talk about the importance of the Shabbat day, so I'm not going to continue there. Let me see here. Deuteronomy chapter 5. This will be my last chapter to cover the Shabbat and the law at this point. There's many other chapters I could go to, but I think I kind of went over enough, and I hope that you've gotten the understanding of the Shabbat day. We have it here. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 12. Once again, it's a reiteration of what we know as the Ten Commandments, the 10 words. So I'm going to just read over it. Um, Deuteronomy 5:12. Observe the Shabbat day and keep it holy, as Jehovah your God commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Shabbat to Jehovah your God. You shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, or your male or female slave, or your ox or your donkey, or any of your livestock, or the resident alien in your towns, so that your male and female slave may rest as well as you. Remember, you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and Jehovah your God brought you out from there with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore, Jehovah your God commanded you to keep the Shabbat. That was one of the main reasons why we came out of Egypt, so that we could keep the Shabbat and keep it holy. So he's telling us to remember that and not to forsake the day. So I'm going to end there. We just went through the Torah. And there are other laws of sacrificing on the Shabbat and all those things, and certain things that the priest could do on the Shabbat, but that the common man could not do. So I didn't want to really go through that because we don't know today who's the priest and who's, people, you might call yourself a priest or not, but we really don't know what the bloodline of the priest is, so we don't indulge in those things. And plus, we're not in our land. So we see the importance of the Shabbat day, as the title of this talk says, the importance of the Shabbat day, the things that we must do. Us who are Shabbat observers and Shabbat keepers, just stay strong, keep fighting the good battle, and always keep speaking for what's right and what's righteous before the Most High. What's righteousness before the Most High. Do not wilt, and try to influence others in a positive way. Even if you see that people, they're having a hard time getting the day off and stuff like that, encourage and always speak to your brothers and sisters in a righteous manner, and try to encourage them to always do the right thing. Sometimes, it takes a little bit of a fight and a battle to get what you want. And people have to see that you're serious in order for you to get what you want. And you can't cut corners. You always have to put the Most High first and foremost. So we thank the Most High God for all things and everything, food, clothing, and shelter. I thank the Most High God for this moment. I didn't know what I was going to do tonight. I actually came up with this topic right before we started. So it was just, those lessons that you kind of already have. So, but I just wanted to speak about the importance of the Shabbat, because sometimes some people don't understand the importance of the Shabbat, and it's important that we stay on top of it, we acknowledge it, we understand it, and we know that the Most High God made this day a blessed day, and that we would receive a blessing on this day. And then if we profane it, and if you do what you want to do and going and profaning the day, that the Most High God does have punishments for it. We can't execute them here, but the Most High God eventually, he catches up to you. So once again, blessed be to everyone in the room. The Rev Basheba, Yisrael, my brother Tavel. See you out there, Tavel. May the Most High God bless you. And tell your Abba, I got his DVDs. I just couldn't find them, but I got his DVDs. I'm going to have to mail them to him, all right? Don't don't be disappointed in me. Don't be disappointed in me. I got his DVDs. Deborah B, Hebrew Sister, Basheba Yisrael, once again. Celeste Ellis, Shabbat Shalom to you. Hebrew Sister, Yona Ben Yisrael, the Red Kashkuya by Yisrael. Many of these people probably out for the night already, and I'm just talking in the air, but it's all right. Miya El Ben Yah, El Kwana Bell, Shalom Shalom, Kwan, Marcia Reed, Ozzy Levy, he's out for the count. He been gone a long time ago. Gwendolyn Lewis, Nawaya Levy, shalom my sister. Long time I haven't seen you. Kazuria Allen, shalom my brother. Seems like that's about it right there. So once again, thank you the Most High God for this opportunity and this chance to be with you all, and to praise His holy name, and hope that you got something out of the lesson, and may Yah bless you all. Hallelujah. Shabbat shalom, and see you in the AM. Shalom, shalom.